What's up? It's the Brunch Breakdown. Didi out here in Los Angeles. Chris and Dan are in Pittsburgh. Dan is back from the great outdoors. Did you survive?
I made it. We can officially cancel the Steel City identity crisis, boys. Survive is the word. Yes, we have made it. We've made it back from Yellowstone.
Beautiful. I'm very happy. Noted outdoorsman Dan Canop is back with us today. But we got a great menu that we need Dan for because there was some big breaking Dan Canop news. Joey Chestnut had all the drama this week, and we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna dive into Dan's travel topic. I don't know what he's got for us, but he's gonna give us something. There is a restaurant in St. Louis, Missouri that has decided that if you are under 30, you can't come in, and if you are under 35 and a male, you cannot come in. So I can't wait to talk about that with you guys. And then we have a TikTok mom who decided to talk a lot about shopping carts. We're going to talk about that too. And we got a lot more. It's the Brunch Breakdown. Thanks for listening and keep listening. Dan, where can they find us?
They can find us anywhere, really. Except in Yellowstone. We'll get to that in a little bit. But anywhere podcasts are available, you can find the Brunch Breakdown. It's that simple. We got new episodes come your way each and every Wednesday. Hit follow, subscribe, let the episode come, boom, straight to you, downloaded on the go, ready to listen each and every Wednesday. We've got full video episodes as well. If you'd like to see the beautiful boys of the Brunch Breakdown, the Quad B, if you will. Yeah, the Quad B, the beautiful boys of the Brunch Breakdown. You'll be able to see that too, okay? Full videos on YouTube, Facebook, and on Spotify. It's right there on Spotify. Don't need to go anywhere different, but you can go to our YouTube page and our Facebook page, see those episodes premiere at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, on demand anytime you want to watch after that. That's just the video. The audio is ready before that, so you can take that anywhere prior to. Everywhere on social media at Brunch Breakdown. And, of course, we've got what we're listening to each and every week. We put that into a lovely little playlist on Spotify. We call that the Sounds of Brunch. We update for that for you. We keep last week's on there. We update each and every week, every Friday on Spotify.
Dan gave us a boom, like a John Madden boom, tough acting to acting.
Boom.
That was fantastic. Welcome back, Dan.
Oh, it's good to be here. Boom.
John Madden, man. R.I.P. John Madden. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Shouts to John. Boom. Oh, man. Madden 95. Just throw it back. You got a whole system. Get it on there, man. All right. It's time to get random topics off our chest. Chris, what you got, man?
Okay. I'm going to try and play something from my phone for this segment this week. And hopefully it'll work. And if not, you guys just give me the visual cue. Be like, nope. Okay. But I'll preface this by saying there's a heat wave coming. Okay. Today it's supposed to get to 90 here in Pittsburgh, and then it's supposed to be like 95 or hotter for like a week and a half. Okay. So wow. It made me harken back to something I actually shared with you boys in one of our group. We have, be honest, we got group chat on basically every platform these days. And this is from the Instagram group chat. Sent this a little while ago, but it came top of mind again, boys. And I have a comment, but I want to share this with you first.
Yesterday you said you'd call Sears. You come now.
Time to shave. I don't know if you heard that or not. That was a Sears commercial from like the early 2000s. Okay. Where this guy and his wife are in their house with no air conditioning. And the wife is complaining about how hot it is. And the husband is just sitting on his ass at the table reading the paper. And she's begging this dude to call Sears because it's hot as shit. And he's clearly hot as shit. Okay. He is sweating reading the paper. Nobody should be physically sweating reading the newspaper. Okay. Why was this guy never at any, why was he not calling, why didn't he call Sears already? Why was he still like, if you're acknowledging that it's hot and your wife is standing in front of she opened the fridge to cool down. She opened the refrigerator door to try to feel comfortable in your household. If it what a shitty husband. I hope they don't have kids. There's no kids in the video. I hope they didn't have kids in that commercial. And then it cuts to like he calls Sears, everything's better, and then their house is comfortable. Why? It never occurred to me back in the day that this dude was just a complete moron until a 90s nostalgia Instagram account shared this video. I can't tell you how unbelievably mad that commercial makes me looking back on it. I can't think of anything dumber. And that commercial probably worked really well for Sears because everybody remembers it, right? I'll call Sears tomorrow. You'll call now. I'll call now is what he says. And then everything gets fixed, right? Good for you, Sears. That worked out. But like in retrospect, what a dumbass. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say. Actually, I do want to say one more thing. Back when my wife was pregnant with our first child, our air conditioning went out when she was like 8 months pregnant in the month of August, a month of July. It was the month of July. And it was during a heat wave. Okay. You know what I did? I called somebody.
You call now.
I called now. I called now. I cannot believe how stupid the dude in that commercial is. And that's what I want to get off my chest today. That commercial was catchy back in the day. And it's infuriating. It's infuriating today. That's all.
Nostalgia just striking it deep for you there. It is. It's a very nostalgic commercial. And it's like, oh, yeah, I remember this. But you're right as you think about it, because she's like, did you call Sears yesterday? He's like, nah, I'll call today. And she just walks over to him and she just tells him politely, you'll call now. And he's like, you know what? You're right. I'll call now. What? It took that? Come on, man. You're both sweating in there. Come on. We can do better. We can do better.
What do you guys keep your air conditioning on, like, during the day in the summer? What do you keep it on?
Dan, you may have a weird face, Dan.
I do. Okay, so you said during the day.
During the day, yes. Like when you're home, not like when you're
Yeah.
not at home. Like when you're at home, what's it on?
During the day, I think it's when I'm not home, it's like 72.
Okay.
But I do need to make a statement here that at night it is a completely different story in the Steel City household. It must be cold for your boy to get some good sleep. And we have a separate air conditioning unit for our second floor. Because especially it's really the third floor from the absolute ground level. So for air to be pushed all the way up to the top takes a long time. It's a waste of energy. Long story short. At night, I like to sleep at a brisk 64. Must be 64.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, quite the difference.
If anybody judges you for that, I'm not going to go into a whole spiel, but physiologically, it's best. So good for you. That's the way to do it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
We're pretty much like 71 all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at night, 71?
Yeah. But we have fans going at night, so 71 with fans.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's 71, 70 during the day, and then at night it's like 68, 67.
I wish I could be in the 60s club with you boys at night. But I think my wife is haunted by, I mean, your parents were probably like this too. Our parents' generation and the thermostat was ridiculous. Like,
oh yes.
If I touched the thermostat in my house, it was a thing. Okay. And I think my wife is haunted by that. So she's afraid to put it below a certain temperature. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll be in the 60s club with you boys. I'm hoping one day.
Dude, you know the most annoying thing when you like rent a house, and as the person who rents the houses most of the time, when they say on the renter agreement, like, don't put the thermostat down below this because like it'll freeze the pipes or something. I'm like, it's the biggest bunch of bullshit in the world.
In July, we're going to freeze the pipes.
Like, it's the biggest bunch of bullshit. Like, everywhere you stay, any time you go somewhere in the summer, or you just go somewhere where it's like really hot all the time, like Palm Springs, it says like, don't put the thermostat below 74. You won't need it. I'm like, shut your face. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, I ignore that so fast. I'm like, please, haven't been charged one time. Like, get out of here. Like, remember when we rented the house for Chris's bachelor party, and it was like, don't put it below 72, and it had like
Right.
signs on the thing. And I remember like someone at the bachelor party was like, oh man, we can't have it below this. I was like, dude, there's like 18 dudes in this house. It's going below 72. Like, you can stop it right now. Like,
little fun fact. We stayed in 3 homes over the course of our trip to Yellowstone. None had air conditioning.
Oh,
0 air
Jesus.
conditioning in all 3. So your boy didn't exactly get a whole lot of sleep this past week. So
Oh.
yeah, you said rental and restrictions, and the restriction was you can't do anything. There's nothing to be put on.
Put that on make that mandatory on the checklist next family vacation there, Dan.
Oh, no. And you
Housing options will include AC.
Yes,
Must include. Yeah.
Must
Ooh.
include. And it was warm there.
And you were
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
All right. Well, Dan, since you just said it, just get it off your chest. Go for it.
Boys, well, I'm going to need a little bit of runway here. So, if you will, if you will, bear with me for just a few minutes, maybe a little bit longer than a typical chest segment. Yes, if you tuned in last week, or if you've listened to any portion of this, you know I was in Yellowstone National Park last week. You may have seen from the video that I shared with you boys last week that you played. The scenery it's indescribable. It's picturesque. We took tons of photos, and they just don't do it justice. It's an incredible place. It's really hard to believe that it's in our country. I remember so many times where we're like, feel like we were in a different country or a different world completely altogether. So highly, highly recommend it. Whether you're a nature lover or not, it's just an incredible place to witness. It kind of puts you in awe. That being said, this is a segment where we get things off our chest, and there are some major issues with how one of the largest national parks in our country is done. Okay. To describe how things operate there in one word would be slow. Very slow. And that's not even just the park. That's the people of Idaho, the people of Wyoming, and the people of Montana are just so lackadaisical.
They're slow.
And slow moving and in no hurry whatsoever. It's unbelievable. We stayed in eastern Idaho for most of the trip, which is right on the border of Wyoming, and just a short drive into Wyoming, where the park actually is for the most part. And then stayed in Montana the last night of our trip because, guys, there's really not a whole lot of close airports to Yellowstone National Park. So you kind of have to meander and move around a little bit. So that's what we had to do. So it was checking 3 states off the checklist. But for Yellowstone, I mean, there are incredible wild animals throughout the park. We saw bison after bison after bison everywhere. Some just feet away, which you're not supposed to do. Don't recommend. But they're everywhere. We saw a coyote. We saw some elk. We saw a bald eagle. It was crazy. It was very, very cool. The problem with these animals, however, is they don't give a single shit about you or your car or the road. You're in their turf and they don't care. Multiple times, we got held up in miles and miles and miles of traffic because people were just stopping to take photos of these animals. Or in one instance, we're in a line of traffic waiting, moving, going 5 miles an hour. And we're like, what's holding this up? On the other side of the street, maybe I can pull this video up. I need to send this to you guys, and it'll end up going on my Instagram at SteelCityDan22. There are just buffalo walking, not crossing the street, walking down the road There's a line of cars behind those 4 buffalo.
They gotta put in a bike lane for those guys.
They need to. There's no shoulder, by the way. There's no going around. There's nothing you can do. They're walking down the road, not across the road. And there's just this parade of cars behind them. And there's nothing. There's nothing they can do. There's literally nothing they can do. It's one lane, no shoulder. That's it. It's absurd. They do nothing to help manage this whatsoever. And you may be aware, whether you've been to Yellowstone or not, there is this much cell service there. Basically zero. It's basically none. There are a few spots, Old Faithful. We got to see Old Faithful. That was very, very cool. There's a few little areas where they have some cell service. For the most part, 98% of the park, none cell service. And you know what that means? There's no way to track traffic, and there's no GPS in Yellowstone National Park. Unless you have one in your car that's using GPS satellites, that's the only way. That's the only way you're getting around. So we would often just blindly run straight into miles of traffic with no clue why. No clue why. Is it an animal? Was there an accident? Is there just a lot of people going in this direction? Is somebody trying to turn left and no one's letting them cross the other lane of traffic? The park does nothing to communicate whatsoever to its guests in any instance. I can't tell you how many times we talked about, there's like highway traffic signs that are on there. It's like 15 minutes to the airport or accident ahead. There's like permanent signs that are there. Just get us a couple of those. Just be like bison crossing ahead, 4 miles of traffic, turn around, anything. Or AM radio. Do some, they have those traffic AM radio stations. 1590 AM. Bison traffic on 89 in Yellowstone. Don't go that way. Like that's it. Just have it on loop. Just give us a heads up. They have people that are traffic management. They got traffic management on the side of their car, and they would literally drive against traffic, and they had a bullhorn, and that's all it was. And they would just go, please don't stop, keep driving. Like, don't stop and take pictures of the bison, keep driving. Like, do that at the front. Don't do it down here. Do that at the front where people are not moving. At one point, the guy was on the side of the road just going, stay in your seats. Stay in your seats. Because people would jump out of their car and go and run over and take a picture. This is the traffic. These people that run this park, it's the government. It's a joke. It's a government agency and it's a complete joke. Dee Dee, you can relate to this one here now. Yellowstone's huge. It's massive. There are fewer entrances into Yellowstone than there is to get into Coachella. Fewer entrances into the park. Seriously? Come on. Like, we've got the management of this park is piss poor at best, and we shouldn't be surprised because it's our government. I could go on and on. If you need any recommendations from me, hit up your boy. If you're going with multiple cars, get those two-mile walkie-talkies. Do that so you communicate with the car in front of you. Because otherwise, you're trying to do hand signals and stuff like that. And if you need to change your plan, you get out of your car and stop traffic and tell them what you're gonna. It's a wild ride back in time. All that being said, it's well worth the hassle. But frustrating knowing that simple solutions can make this experience much, much better. So government, if you're listening, hire your boy. We can get this thing fixed up in no time.
So
just had to get a couple things off my chest from Yellowstone, but it's great. Had a great time.
Dee loves how you shat all over Yellowstone for 10 minutes and then it's like, but yeah, go there.
But well worth the hassle. Well worth it. Well worth
it. But here's my question. Like, even if there were those traffic signs, like, is there an alternative route you could take?
Realistically, no.
It's just like turn around and try again later, right?
Yeah. At one point, there was a man, traffic management, who parked his truck on the side of the road and had a sign, literally just a sign that said "traffic ahead, turn around." That's what it was. That's what it was. So we did, because we were stuck. We had so much longer to go. We had 45 minutes to our destination to go, and we hadn't moved. We were literally parked on the side of on the road, We're like, man, is this worth waiting? If we can't, this will be the one, we can only get to do one thing today if we get there. And we pulled off to the side and there was a restroom area. And the one lady was like, we sat there for an hour and a half and didn't move. So we turned around and we'd only been sitting there for a little while. And so that's so to answer your question, Chris, not really. There are some long ways around, but it's almost not worth it. You basically have to turn around and change your plans for the day, which is very frustrating.
I tell you what, Dan, that's going to make driving through the Fort Pitt Tunnel on Monday feel like a breeze.
Yeah, it is. A lot of perspective when you put it that way.
Fair.
Absolutely.
Liberty Tubes ain't got nothing on Yellowstone.
Nothing. One day was 4.5 hours in traffic in the car.
Nope.
Just in the car.
Okay, so there are 5 states I haven't been to, and this conversation comes up when you're basically at a work thing where no one really likes each other and someone mentions something, or you're at a party where you're just bored and somebody says something. So, states.
Yeah.
There's 5 I haven't been to: Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, and North Dakota. And after you telling that story, not that I wanted to go to these places anyways, but after you telling that story, I don't want to come anywhere near those places. Nowhere near them. Like, did you have to print out MapQuest directions? Is that what you guys were doing?
Yeah, we had to do that. I will say this. The Yellowstone doesn't have a social media account. It doesn't have an app. It's the National Park Service app and like X account that you can follow. So if you download the National Park Service app, you can download the Yellowstone map to your phone. Now, if you get to that point where you're in the park where it says on your phone, it's like a satellite and it says SOS, like you can only use it for emergency calls. It will use satellite to tell you where you are, but it can't direct you to where you're going. So it's like, it's kind of helpful, but it's really not. Like a MapQuest direction is just as helpful at that point. If it's not helping you direct, you're just following like the blinking indicator of where you are, but you have to try to still map ahead where you're seeking to go to. So yeah, there's a lot of screenshots, the night before where I'm screenshotting everything of turn by turn. Yeah, quite frustrating. But it's worth it.
Sounds like a great time, Dan.
Yeah,
it is. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, but it's simple things that our government could do to improve the experience for everybody inside the park. Shouldn't be surprised.
Nope.
But go.
Wow. All right. To more ridiculous things. Saoirse started basketball yesterday.
Hey, let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
So Saoirse is 5 and I don't know, over 5.5, closer to 6 than she is 5. Starts basketball. She is a part of what do they call it? The Junior Clippers is what they are. What the whole thing is called at the YMCA.
And they won't win anything.
Yeah. Did you have a choice?
Man,
no, you don't have a choice.
You don't put that on
Clippers,
little girls like that. Come on.
The Clippers sponsor all the YMCA, so they all have like reversible jerseys. They're like white and blue, and so like when you play, you're either what somebody's the Clippers, somebody's the Clippers.
Well, I mean, we're off to a bad start, but okay, keep going.
Trust me, I hear you. Well, anyways, so they're out there. If you've ever watched kids play basketball, it's trying to dribble, walk around, all the things. They're doing drills. She's doing well. It's cool. Like whatever. I'm just there, just hanging out. Major's doing soccer, like down on the other side of the YMCA. So like it's just Saturday, just kicking it. And then the coaches who are like, I don't know if they're in college or high school or whatever, they're like, all right, it's time to play the first game of the season. And I'm like, game? Some of these kids have never dribbled a basketball before. Like I thought, like I understand playing, but like I thought that would come like maybe in week 3, not today. So as soon as they say game, it's like every parent moved. It was like you could hear the bleachers shift or the chairs scoot up. All of a sudden, everybody is just in it, as if you're getting ready, like as if you're sitting courtside at the NBA Finals. Like, and I'm just looking around at this like, oh no. I'm not gonna be able to handle this. No, I don't know if I can do this because all of a sudden, every parent just starts yelling as if you're at an actual basketball game. And these are 5-year-olds picking up the ball and just running with it like they're running backs. Okay.
Wow.
Like, it was just insane. And people were yelling. One guy ran out, grabbed his daughter's arm, and told her to play defense. I was like, this dude, I'm not kidding. Like, this was wild, like so wild. And I forgot my phone in my car. Otherwise, I would have recorded all of this and just been like, this is the problem with everyone in the world. Like, this is everyone's problem. Like, there had to be a reason why. I guess we probably would have got kicked out of the YMCA if I had my phone. So there's like, someone out there was looking for me. Up there was looking for me. That's why I left my phone in the car on accident. So anyways, like, so there's one kid has a meltdown because like she's dribbling, someone takes the ball from her, so she freaks out. So then Saoirse's like trying to dribble, then tries to dribble, and like she gets her shot blocked. She runs off to me and is like, it looks all like sad or whatever. And I'm like, dude, it's basketball. That's what you do. They try to do that. They try to get the ball off you. You get the ball off them. It's fine. She goes, okay. She like wipes her eye, and then she just goes and basically trucks this kid to get the ball. And I'm not gonna lie, kind of proud. I was like,
jeez.
Didn't cheer, didn't go out there and scream like these other people. And then there was this one guy who I'm telling you right now, he every day for the past year has been trying to get his 5-year-old to play basketball. No question. And as soon as they say, all right, we're going to play a game, she goes, Dad, I don't want to. He's out there like coaching his daughter while the other coaches are coaching them on drills. He's out there every one way. Like, it was hilarious. Like, parents of the world, I joke on this podcast all the time about how like I want my kids to be professional athletes. It's more funny than it is anything else. Like, but guys, everyone, I need you all to chill out. I need everyone to chill out, because if this is what it is at 5 years old, what is it when they actually can play basketball when they're like 10 or 11?
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to handle that, because I'm just sitting there in the back, just like looking at everyone, just like, and like giving my kid thumbs up every once in a while, and just sitting there and watching all these people lose their minds. Like, yo, we've got a problem. We have a huge problem. This is bad. It's really bad. And like, I hear it and I see it and whatever, but then once your kid is in it and you actually have to sit there, and it's not just like a random YouTube clip, and you actually have to sit there for 45 minutes and watch this, it's like, wow, guys, all of these kids are going pro in something other than sports. All of them. All of them. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, I can go on and on about it, but I'm just going to stop. So yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of awareness at this point amongst adults that like parents are the worst thing about kids playing sports. Like, this is not like, that's not it's widely known and understood that parents are way too much. So it's surprising to me that the parents continue to be way too much. Like, our generation as kids, like, I remember playing sports and there was like 3 or 4 kids who were really good at sports growing up. And like, I knew who their parents were because their parents were the ones at my games that were going ballistic. And so like, even as a kid, it was apparent to me that like, that's a little bit over the top. So we witnessed that as a generation. And now that we are growing into being the parents, you would think that we would like understand that those kids aren't playing. Well, actually one of them did. One of them did end up being a professional athlete, but the other ones didn't end up doing anything with their careers as athletes. So like, maybe just don't. My daughter's almost 4. She was at soccer the other day, and almost like the same thing, Dee, they did a scrimmage, and this kid's dad was going nuts. And my parents were actually there, and my mom said to me, she's like, well, I guess we know who that parent is, like the parent. Just like, your kids aren't playing pro sports, and it's actually probably gonna be better for them long term if they don't, because they'll have much more like work-life balance and health. So like, just everybody chill. It's okay. Hey, shout out to Saoirse though. Truck them. Like, and you know what, Saoirse, she's probably not. I mean, she playing the odds here. She's probably not going to be in the WNBA. So why not just knock a few kids out while you can?
To be fair, she took your instruction quite literal. I don't. You didn't say you kindly, without touching, remove the basketball from the other player. You said you just take it. Just take it. You're gonna take it. You're gonna take it. And
Like-
she did.
I legitimately didn't think she was actually going to go do it. I just was like, listen, it's basketball. They take the ball from you. You take the ball from them. When you stop them, you go score on that hoop.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's like, you're 5. Like, I don't know what else you're supposed to say. It's like, because with the whole like, oh yeah, like, are they going to be, is that the kid that's going to be good or whatever? I was like, I have no idea. I'm like, I can tell who actually wants to be here and whose parents are like, you know, who left dance class to be here and didn't want to be here. I saw those kids. You know what I mean? Like, I saw them.
Mhm.
Like, but like, I don't know. It's so just, it was very eye-opening just being there for that long. And you're just like, wow. And you're just seeing all these people reliving their high school or middle school glory, like, try through their kids. And I'm like, man, you guys gotta stop.
I knew it wasn't gonna go well when you had the Jim Moore reaction when you went game playoffs,
Dude.
You were like, game.
It's like, it's the truth. Oh man. All right. Well, let's get into Brews Day. I'll keep it going here. Casamigos put out a jalapeno tequila. I love spicy margaritas. That is no shock to anyone. I love them so much. And this has jalapenos in it. And it's really good. I prefer another one. It's called 21 Seeds. They have the cucumber jalapeno, just because I like the cucumber in it. But this is really good too. And Casamigos is like my favorite tequila. So shouts to Casamigos for doing this for me, because I love spicy margaritas and I love you. Not at 7 a.m, but later on tonight. Love you.
Tasty. Chris, what do you have for us this week?
Yeah, I'll go next. I got the same thing as last week. I got my lemon radler over here from Athletic Brewing. Dude, it's just so good. I know I've said this before, but it doesn't taste, it like barely tastes like beer. This is it's perfect for, and on the East Coast, we record this at brunch hour on the weekend. It is literally perfect. So I'm just going to keep enjoying it.
Beautiful.
There it is. I like that. I'm bringing one for you this week from Wyoming, of course. Jackson Hole. Now, Didi, you said you were going to cross those states off your list. Don't need to visit. If you want to visit Wyoming, Jackson Hole. You'd enjoy Jackson Hole, I think. It's an actually legit town. It's a little bit a ways outside of Yellowstone.
That's the richest. Isn't that the richest city in America? Or like, that's the richest city in America, right? Yeah, like, only reason I know that is because that's where when Kanye began to go crazy in 2018, that's where he made his album from and sent everyone to Wyoming.
Oh, right.
But I was like, wow, Wyoming, that's a weird place. And then I remember someone tweeting, don't think Kanye's one with the wilderness. That's the richest place in America. And I was like, that checks out. But go ahead.
Yeah. Jackson Hole, great little town there. There were so many things to get off my chest for it. I forgot to tell you. I don't know if you guys saw anywhere in the news this week. There was a massive mudslide, road collapse in the state of Wyoming. That affected us quite a bit. I know I had some people reach out and asked if that affected me. A drive that would have taken 45 minutes took 2.5 hours because of this road collapse. And it affected thousands of people, including us, and added time in the car unnecessarily.
But definitely check it out.
But worth it. But check it out. Once they rebuild the road, apparently they're already rebuilding the road. They're rebuilding a road to go around the collapsed road. It's that important.
I thought that Chris going to Disney World with a bunch of kids who can't ride rides is gonna be bad. But like, this trip, it might be worse. Like, I can't wait to compare notes in October or whatever. Like, this is gonna be fun. Like, because Jesus Christ, damn.
It was just one thing after the next. We were like, come on, give us a break. Tell us what's going on here.
I propose a new award at this year's Brunchies for worst vacation.
Dude, seriously.
But it was worth the hassle, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it was amazing to see. Anyways, when we stopped in Jackson Hole, we stopped at Roadhouse Brewing Company. Got a little flight there. Wanted to taste some of their finest and best. And the 460 Crust and Craft was quite a special beer. They brewed it with bread, and it was a collaboration with another brewery. 460, I think, is the name of the other brewery. And it had a bready taste, but it was almost like it was rum raisin because it was barrel aged. And not too sweet. Sometimes with those barrel aged ones, you can get too like bourbon tasty or too sweet. This was really, really smooth, almost velvety. This 460 Crust and Craft. It was a special beer that they had released, and it was very, very tasty. So shout out to Roadhouse Brewing and good old Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Roadhouse.
I like the name. Roadhouse. Yeah. Well, that's Brews Day, gentlemen, and everybody listening. So let's get into the main menu. Let's do it. All right.
Let's do it.
Joey Chestnut made some headlines this week that we all kind of sensed had some bigger thing going on. I feel like we did, where he signs a deal with a vegan hot dog company or plant-based. Was it plant-based or vegan?
It's all
something like that. One of the two. Yeah, it's all the same.
Plant-based, I believe. Yeah.
Whatever. Some not meat hot dog company.
Non-meat.
Then Nathan's comes
company.
out of nowhere and is just like throws a dagger at Joey Chestnut and says, "You can't be in our hot dog eating contest anymore." And I was like, whoa, that sounds like a lot. And then, like a day or two later, Netflix drops Kobayashi versus Chestnut in September. Hot dog, the eating contest of all, the biggest eating contest of all time. Dan, we got to get to you, man. I don't know if you found this out. I didn't know when you found this stuff out, like, because in and out of cell service and all that stuff. So, your thoughts on all the Joey Chestnut drama over the past week?
Yeah, and so much being sent to me from people all over the globe, so I appreciate it. And if I didn't respond to you, I'm sorry. I didn't have cell service. Wow, what a wild and emotional week for people like me. And hot dog lovers of the world, Joey Chestnut fans all over the world. The ban is ridiculous. It's ludicrous. It's ridiculous. That they changed, apparently Major League Eating. Joey Chestnut and Major League Eating have not always gotten along. Because he's like, hey, I'm me. I should be able to do what I want to do. And they're like, no, you're a part of our league. You can't have separate sponsorships, et cetera, et cetera. They've gotten around that. Well, it's apparently gotten to the point where they said, like, no more. You've crossed the line into the unbeef territory. We can't have you representing Major League Eating at the biggest event of the year that we make money because of you, by the way. I don't know if this is over. I don't now. When I saw the announcement of Joey Chestnut versus Kobayashi with unfinished beef, it made me think maybe this has changed course. Maybe he ran into some bison, turned around, had to go the other direction. I don't know. I could still see Joey coming out the 4th of July. Because what are the ratings going to be like without Joey Chestnut? People are still going to watch, but I think I'm officially calling my ban. We should the Brunch Breakdown is going to refuse to watch the Nathan's Famous hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July. We're going on the other side of the picket fence. We're not doing it. We're not watching it. But at the same time, part of me wants this like WWE style entrance of Joey Chestnut, like out of nowhere. They come to an agreement last second, and then the glass shatters, and it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He comes out, and the crowd goes wild, and everybody's tuning into their TVs. I still kind of hope for that, but I don't know, man. I think we have to protest this year. I think we have to protest the Nathan's Famous hot dog eating contest.
It's definitely a publicity stunt. It has to be. And
it has to be, right?
I think what Dan described is like exactly what's going to happen, because the Kobayashi Chestnut thing is in September, right?
Mm-hmm. Labor Day. Yeah.
Yeah. So June, July, August. So like there's ample time after the 4th of July hot dog eating contest to like prepare for another contest. Right.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
And antics with Major League Eating, it's like part of it. They are kind of like the wrestling of eating. Because like, remember Kobayashi just showed up out of nowhere the one time and tried to get on the stage. And
Yeah.
that was a big, I mean, I don't think they planned that, because there was a documentary about it, and it seemed like it was Kobayashi, but like he kind of got like pushed to the outside of Major League Eating, kind of like now they're doing with Joey Chestnut. But you would think hopefully Major League Eating learned from that, and they're like, oh, this is the dude that is the reason why we all make money. So I don't think there's any chance that Joey Chestnut doesn't participate. And I wouldn't be shocked if both of them don't participate.
My only thing, because I thought publicity stunt too. As soon as when I saw Nathan's put out their statement, I was like, okay. And the first thing I looked up was like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Everyone has like a vegan or plant-based hot dog now. So like, and I was like, Nathan's has one, and maybe this is some weird infighting thing going on where it's like you have to eat Nathan's hot dogs in the thing, and Joey's like, nah, I'm gonna eat these ones, and you're still gonna let me in. And then Nathan's is like, no. And so I feel like that's the only thing that makes me think maybe this really is like he signed for a bunch of money, and Nathan's was like, no, like you're just not going to be in it. And then the next Netflix things come out. Maybe that pissed off the Nathan's people. There's a lot of things that could piss you off here if he went and just like did this stuff and just was like, yeah, I'm still going to be in it. So I don't know. It's weird, but I wouldn't be surprised one bit if all of a sudden, Twitter starts going crazy. Shams is reporting, Woj is reporting that that Joey Chestnut is in the building on the 4th of July during the lemonade chug. All of a sudden, Joey Chestnut arrives, and you're like, whoa. And so I wouldn't be surprised one bit to see an Adam Schefter report that Joey Chestnut's in the building on the 4th. But but there are like some business things that make me think maybe he just pissed off the wrong people.
What a day for vegan hot dog advertising, though.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like whatever date that happened is now Vegan Hot Dog Awareness Day every year.
Yeah.
That's it.
There it is.
Yeah, I can see that. They're gonna cut from Mike Golick Jr. to Adam Schefter reporting from his cell phone at some like 4th of July picnic. And he's like, I'm just getting word right now that Joey Chestnut and Major League Eating have come to an agreement. He should be arriving soon. Like it's coming. It's coming. But once that clock starts and he ain't there, boom, I'm turning it off. Done. Forget it. Not happening. But let's hope for the best, because this could be the greatest year in hot dog eating contest in history, with 4th of July and Labor Day, just the perfect summer.
June 12th, National Vegan Hot Dog Awareness Day. You heard it here first.
Let's go.
There you go.
There it is. I'm excited for this thing on Netflix, though. I'm all in. Shouts to Netflix and live sports. Like, Netflix is just like, we're just gonna do, but they got the NFL on Christmas this year. Netflix does.
Yeah.
Like, shouts to Netflix. Doing it big. All right. Let's get to Dan. Do you have a travel topic from the road? I love when you guys, we've talked a lot about Yellowstone, but
we have.
Let's just go. Let's do more. Why not?
Let's do more. Why not? Let's pour it on. So after my stories, a couple of questions that came to mind that I thought would be worth discussing. I talked about the traffic and, having to turn around and et cetera. So Chris, maybe this one, especially for you, Mr. Travels in the Car, Instagram. How long do you sit in traffic, like either not moving or inching along, before you decide to turn around? Like if you're going somewhere for leisure, not necessarily like for work, where you're like, I have to go. How long do you sit there before you say, screw this, we have to turn around, or we have to try to find another way there? What's the longest you go?
I feel like that's tough. It's a very like case specific answer, because like it depends on where we're going, how long the trip is. Like, is it a half hour drive we're going to spend like the day somewhere, or am I going to Wisconsin? You know what I mean? Because like if it's a longer trip, where you're taking turnpikes, like there's no real alternative that's going to be better, because you're finding all these back roads to go around that just link you back up to the main interstate, and it ends up being net even. So do you want to go through that? But if it's
let's say it's a shorter, like a day trip,
okay.
Maybe at most 2 hours,
2
something
hours,
like that.
yeah, driving to Deep Creek.
It's something that you'd get there and you could drive back the same day,
Yeah.
if you needed to. Yeah, short trip where you just say, you know what, this ain't worth it.
Well, yeah, I mean, so if it's a 2-hour trip, half hour of sitting
Maybe you're
in
driving
traffic.
Maybe you're driving up to Knoebels. I don't know. Maybe Knoebels for the day.
I'm picturing Deep Creek.
Little amusement
right?
park in the middle of the state. Okay.
A half hour would be a 25% of that intended trip. So if I'm like getting close to a half hour, I mean, we're doing something different. But I probably wouldn't even wait that. Like, if I'm getting delayed 15 or 20 minutes, then I'm taking Waze whichever way it goes, because there is something to be said for like moving just feels better than sitting.
Definitely.
Yeah. So your traffic, you're speaking my language. So there just comes a limit where you like put on the GPS, and if you're going somewhere that takes, I don't know, 35, 45 minutes or something like that normally with traffic, and you put on Waze and it says like an hour and a half, something went wrong, but you drive towards it anyways because you're just like, I bet something, whatever. So you're just like still you're like, I bet that's not true. Like, whatever. I'm sure something happened a half hour ago or something. But then when you're just like sitting there and you're watching, I have like a rule where like if like 5 cars behind me just all of a sudden haul off and take like little U-turns or 3-point turns and go the other way, that tells me that I need to turn around. So it's usually like 25 minutes or something like that of just sitting there on a side road, not like you're sitting on like the actual like main 405. You're like on a side road trying to get to the main. That's when you realize like, oh, this is bad. This is all real bad. And then you like look at like X on your phone because you're just sitting there, and then you just see all these people talking about what's going on. You're like, all right, time for me to turn around. But yeah, it's usually like 25 minutes of just knowing, of nothing changing, of you being like, all right, yeah, it's time to turn around.
That's a good point about other people, DD.
Yeah.
I have like on trips that I normally take, I have like landmarks. If I'm going downtown and as I get on the parkway, if I see a lot of people getting off of Carnegie, I'm like, I think I'm getting off of Carnegie, because they know something. The sign will say like traffic ahead, and then everybody in front of me is going to I'm getting off there too. Yeah. You gotta, there's lots of different signs and symptoms you got to be aware of.
Yeah, you got to look and you got to see how you really do. It's because there was like I had a rule when I was in Pittsburgh too, where it was like, depending on where the traffic landed going up the Green Tree Hill, like wherever I was like, oh, if cars are all the way back here, I'm taking this exit. Like, but
that you're describing about what we went through. It was about a half hour, and then cars started to turn around. And it was like, okay,
yeah,
this isn't leading us anywhere. We probably need to change course.
Yeah.
And my second question is, how long do you realistically think you can go without any cell service or Wi-Fi, no connection to the outside world? How long, hours, days, whatever it is for you, could you realistically go without knowing anything happening anywhere?
I just read a stat this morning that was like, on average, people touch their phone. It was like 2,132 times a day or something like that. Like,
and that's on average. So that means I do it more than.
Yeah, I believe that number. I believe that number. So it's funny you asked that, Dan. Like, I want to be able to, but I think I would go. I think I would go crazy.
It's okay. So without just Wi-Fi or without my cell phone?
without I mean, you can have your phone,
but
you
without
get no
internet,
service,
like
no
I
Wi-Fi.
can't connect anything.
You can't get nothing's incoming, nothing's outgoing. Yeah, no social media, no text messaging. You basically got your photos.
Okay.
I guess maybe a game that plays without service. I don't know.
Okay. It depends who I'm with. If I'm
Okay.
with a solid group of people and I can just, and all I have is videos and like because I love taking pictures, I love taking videos. So if I have that, I can do it I'm good. I think I could do it for longer. I think I could do it for like a whole day. Like I really think I could. Like I don't think my wife would enjoy that if us three went to Vegas and I just turned off when we turned off our Wi-Fi and everything. I don't think they would enjoy it. But it's
sorry,
just
babe.
like
It was on airplane mode.
there's just something. It would depend like where I was, like if I knew where I was, and who I was with, and I think I could do it for days. Like
Wow,
I wouldn't need to. I think
that's
I
strong.
could do it just depending on who I was with and what I was doing. That's really what it depends on. But like normally, no. I've touched my phone like I don't know 100 times while doing this podcast just now. No, absolutely not. Like what?
So on average, it was about 8 hours a day with nothing. And like I said, there was an occasional time where we'd go see Old Faithful and they had a little bit of cell service there. But every day exiting the park, it felt like, that feeling when you are on a plane and you're on airplane mode and it's a plane that doesn't have Wi-Fi or you have to pay for it and you don't want to, and you land and they're like, oh, you can put your phone, use your cell phones now, and you turn off of airplane mode and you get the notifications just come in. It was that every single day. Getting back into life with cell phone service, it was like all these text messages and these notifications and I'm like, oh gosh. And it tests you, man. We talk about on this podcast before. I said, I challenge you people, I challenge you as listeners, if you're out to dinner with your significant other and they get up, go to the restroom, whatever it is, don't touch your phone. Challenge you not to pick it up. That's like 4 minutes. Do that for 8 hours. So how long could you go?
Ooh, it's tough. I like to think I'm a better person, but I'm not, man. I'm not. I'm not.
It's a challenge. I mean, it's good. I think it's a healthy thing, right? Like you said, Chris, you want to be able to do that more, but sometimes you just want to know what's going on out there.
You want to know, and then you're mad that once you find out, then you're pissed that you found out. It's like never good.
Yeah.
It's basically the Joey Chestnut news for me all week. Yes, I want to know, and then that
I'm
came
sorry.
in,
This
I was mad.
I'm sorry. It was such an emotional week.
All right. Well, let's get to one more. So this restaurant in St. Louis, it's a Caribbean restaurant. They decided just recently that because they want a more sophisticated atmosphere, that it is 30 and older for women and 35 and older for men to come to their restaurant. As people who are over the age, we could get into this restaurant. Do you like this? How do you feel about this restaurant? And should more restaurants do this? How do you feel?
Well, if we're gonna put a floor on it, let's put a cap on it too.
Oh, okay.
Let's go.
Okay.
Now you're
Like,
talking. If
we're gonna make a restaurant that's only for a certain age of people, like let's be hyper specific about the age. Because do I want to go to this place and then find out because they have an age floor, it's all senior citizens? Then no.
Right.
But if we're talking about 35 to 50, then it's like generally speaking, we're all on the same wavelength. I might be able to get down with it. I will say, kind of a weird thing to do. Kind of weird. But I can confirm that based on what criteria it's not, the word's not classy, the word's not distinguished. What did they say?
Sophisticated
and sexy.
I am still not a sophisticated man, but I can confirm that 30s have improved the sophistication because the 20s was not there. So there is, I think, something to that. but it's a weird, it's not something that you can like, show your ID and then prove it.
Yeah. It's weird.
It calling back to some other things we talked about on the podcast. Chris, you mentioned the ceiling and the floor. I think what we're trying to do is something we've been trying to express on this podcast for a long time. On the lower end, you're eliminating people wearing sweatpants and champion t-shirts to a nice establishment. You're eliminating that. And on the higher end, you're eliminating people that need to use their flashlight on their phone to read the menu. That sweet spot right in the middle.
Yeah.
Is where they want that sophistication to be, where they want it to come from. And that's who we are as a generation. We're just trying to find that sweet spot in the middle. So I love it. I love this idea. I love this concept. I hope it works. And I totally get it. There's a reason they did this. This wasn't out of the blue, right? There just must have been some really, really unsophisticated sweatpants wearing bums under the age of 30 rolling in there, or under the age of 35 rolling in there. And they're like, it's time to put an end to this. It's time to put an end to this.
You know what I think? When I first saw this, I thought like maybe they just don't want younger people in there. And when I mean younger, I mean people who don't know how to tip properly. And I think that may have a lot to do with this, because if there's anything that I am kind of embarrassed by when I look back at my young ages, is tipping and things of that sort. And just thinking, embarrassed by that in my younger ages, and thinking that was like funny and things. No, it's not funny. And kids are dumb and terrible when it comes to restaurants. And I think, I wonder what it was that set this person off. But yeah, like something had to happen like that way too many times for them to be like, don't care if my business goes under, no one under 30. Peace out.
Even just general spending, right? In your 30s, you're more established. You've got a solid career, hopefully under your belt by now. And they could be turning people away in their 30s and 40s who have a nice income that want to come there for a nice dinner, buy drinks, a meal, maybe dessert. And instead, they had to turn those people away. And there's 23-year-olds ordering off the shareables menu and then ordering the cheapest beer there and getting out with no tip. So they're turning away money by having to welcome this riffraff into their establishment. And they said, it's time we got to end sophistication moving forward.
Yeah.
I like it.
But listen, the oldest Gen X person is 59. And I'm down with that.
Wow.
I'm so down with that.
Yeah.
Like 30 to 59.
What do you think about the gap between the men and the women? The 35 for men. Do you think that's are you good with that?
That's appropriate.
100% appropriate.
Immediately.
100%. When I saw that was the most uncontroversial thing in that whole piece that I read. Was like, 35? Yep.
When I compare myself at 30 to my wife at 30, we are talking about quite literally, if you go back in time, like a senior in high school compared to an 8th grader, right? That 5-year difference. It takes us a little bit longer to catch up, and I think it's appropriate.
That's fair.
Yeah, girls mature so much faster than it's stupid. And like I saw that, I was like, yep, 35. Yep, that was the most dead on thing on there. I'm like 35. Yeah. Perfect.
Well, shouts to them.
Dude, it would be hilarious though if you're like, oh man, you're with this girl and she's like, oh, I want to go to this restaurant, and you're like, well, I'm 33. And she's like, well,
he's like, babe, I'm not old enough.
It's my favorite restaurant. So,
do you think they'll let me like as a chaperone? Like I'm old enough? And no, I tried that. No, they won't.
You must be this tall to ride the ride.
Oh man. All right. You know what we got? What time we got? Listen, let's bust this out here. All right. So
we're plowing through.
We're plowing through. This mom on TikTok had some time to go off about taking back shopping carts or not taking back shopping carts whenever you have kids in the car, is what she was saying. So she said, and she went on this whole thing. Apparently she's a doctor or something, or at least doctors in her TikTok profile. I don't know. Maybe she's not a doctor. Anyways, so this person says that it goes on this whole thing about how, you know, if you take the cart back with your kids in the car, like somebody could kidnap them, blah, blah. You shouldn't have to have like moms or dads taking their carts back, you know, to the grocery store. How do you feel about taking shopping carts back, guys? How you feel?
I think depending on the place that you are shopping at, some of them certainly do not have enough cart returns. However, I'm a parent with 3 children and I park close to the cart return. So it's 30 seconds max to return the cart. This is not complicated. So the car is never out of your eyesight. Put the cart back, as somebody who did carts at a Shop and Save. That's all.
This hits home. All these topics hit home for
This
me
is an emotional
It's a
episode. For
big
Dan.
day.
It is. What a week to be back. As Steel City Grocery, as Grocery Man Dan here, yeah, a lot to say. There's no excuse to not return a shopping cart. No excuse. Even with kids in the car, you can lock your car if you're that concerned. You have it on your key. You can start your car and lock your car. You can still do that. This is so asinine of this woman. It's the bare minimum you can do. The bare minimum you can do is return the cart to the corral. It's the bare minimum. I don't want to hear any excuse. And I want to read you one quote that I saw in this article that really struck, because she's got a lot of backlash naturally. And she said, there are so many messages, private messages of women saying, I believe you, I trust you, I do the same thing, but I'm not going to leave a public message because I don't want the retaliation. What does that tell you? If you're afraid of the retaliation of your opinion, it means you're wrong. It means you're wrong and you shouldn't do it. It's that simple. Maybe what they should do is, you know, those carts at the airports, where you're lugging all your luggage around. You boys got families. Instead of making the kids carry it all, you put them in the carts. Maybe it should be like that from now on, where it costs you 50 cents for a cart and you don't get your money back until you return it to the corral. Maybe that's our future if more people like this exist in the world.
Listen, I saw this and was like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. And also, why did you have to go on TikTok and say this? I was like, this is so stupid. Like, you're just lazy. You didn't take the cart back when you were single with no children. You didn't. Like, you just don't. This is so stupid. Never once have I thought when I put the kids in the car that it took me, like, she's acting like it takes you 2 hours to take a cart back.
Right.
Sometimes the cart's behind you. I don't pay attention to where I park with the cart. Like Siobhan was like, yeah, like I pay attention to where the cart thing is, like, and I try to stay close to it. I've never paid attention to any of that before. But you know what I've done? I've walked the cart back to put it where it goes. Those things are like everywhere, all over the place. Like, this is so dumb. Like, take the cart back. Like, put the cart back. Like, I cannot stand it when I see people just put it just like, and it's funny because like once one person puts it in a random spot, then like 20 people put it in a random spot. And it's just like taking up a parking space or just in a weird spot where you think you can pull your car in and then like there's a cart sitting right there or like 10 carts sitting right there. It's just stupid. Take your cart back. No one's taking your kids. Trust me. No one's taking them. Like, just stop living your lives like that, you dorks. Like, no one's taking your kids.
If you are the type of person who doesn't return their cart, that does shows a lot who you are as a person and a parent. And certainly nobody wants those kids because of how you parent, because that's how you're raising your kids, is based off of that. I can know who you are as a person if you don't. So don't worry. Yeah, no one's going after your kids there.
God, I hate people. I really do. Let's get to music. Something I love. Music. Let's go. Dan, you weren't here last week. What you got?
Yeah, absolutely. As you've heard, we spent a lot of time in the car uh last week in Yellowstone, and I heard a song on one of those long drives that Shannon's uncle had on his playlist, and I just immediately got hooked. The artist name is Debbie Dawson, and the song is called Happy World, and it has, you want to know why it struck your boy so strongly? Big ABBA vibes in this song. So, I mean, you'd think it was an ABBA song, but it's a new song, and it's super catchy. Definitely be checking out more of Debbie Dawson, Debbie with two eyes, by the way, and Happy World, phenomenal song. ABBA alive and well in the modern era.
The title of this episode is now Big ABBA Vibes Brunch.
Yeah,
So,
dude.
Just that's it right there. It's done. So there you go. Chris, what do you listen to?
Everybody knew that. Yeah. Song number one for me is from a band called Good Hangs, who I stumbled upon a few weeks ago. They have a song called Local Scene, and it's just about them before they got big, playing shows at a lot of places, just like me and Dan played shows. And so I like the song because it's very nostalgic for me. So that's my first one.
Well, I'm still my summer obsession, Lola Young. It's a song called Wish You Were Dead. Freaking, I'm obsessed with this girl. Album comes out June 21st. What's that, next week? Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. I'm obsessed.
Love it. Next one for me is the man. He's returning. My guy, Gus Dapperton, back with some new tunes. He released an EP called Tunes for Late Spring, and I love the title. He's a little late, but I love the title of the EP, and I'm gonna put on a song called Everything She Wants. He's no stranger to the playlist, certainly. Check out the other songs on the EP as well, but this is that classic, indistinguishable vocal sound of Gus Dapperton in his music styling. Phenomenal. Gus, welcome back.
All right, my second one, be honest with you guys, I put this on my list and I don't remember the song. So we're all going to relive it, pretty much live it together for the first time. The song is called Bummer from a band named Long Gone. I know that I like the band. I don't remember what I liked about the song, but it must have been good because I put it on my list. And so we'll find out. That's all.
Together.
Love it. Love it. All right. Charlie XCX put out a new album, Brat. She got the song called So I that I can't stop listening to. So yeah, Charlie XCX, So I. Really good. Album's really good, but that song's awesome.
Love it. And last one for me, again, some ladies not no strangers to the playlist. Meet Me at the Altar released a cover of Sucker by the Jonas Brothers, and I really dig it. At first I was listening to him like, I don't know if this is something I like, but as it kept going on and on and on, I'm like, okay, I dig this. They can do no wrong. Meet Me at the Altar back again with Sucker cover from Jonas Brothers.
I like it. My last one is from a ska band named Cliff Diver. They put out a song that's kind of funky, but the name of it is just perfect for a playlist called Sounds of Brunch. So the song is called Black Lodge Breakfast Burrito.
Okay. I like that.
Nice.
All right. I got two for this last one. And just to make you guys feel old for a second, 14 years ago yesterday, Drake's debut album, Thank Me Later, came out. And I'm going to put Fancy on the playlist. And 13 years ago, which I found out, I guess this album leaked because it didn't come out for another 2 weeks, Big Sean's Finally Famous came out. And I'm going to put High featuring Wiz Khalifa and Chitty Bang on the playlist as well. So two classic albums from the early 2010s, are having anniversaries this month. And I just thought I'd throw them on the playlist too. Check it out.
Love it. Love it.
That's right.
Wow.
And that's what we're listening to. Check out the playlist on Spotify. Tell Siri, tell Alexa to play the sounds of brunch. Boys, this has been a very brunchy episode. Got to a lot of things. Talked a lot of Yellowstone, a little ABBA, a little shopping carts. We did it all today on the show. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, next time you're mad at like a bicyclist in traffic, just remember that there's somebody like Dan sitting out there in Wyoming behind a bison, okay? And maybe your life isn't so bad.
Yeah, I now know why Leslie Knope worked so hard in Parks and Rec, because our national parks are a disaster.
People of Wyoming, shoot those bison, get some eaten. That's from your friend Daniel, originally from West Virginia. That's the Brunch Breakdown. We're out.